It's May 2nd today, and although I tried to get out here and set up some baits 2 weeks ago, there was still lots of snow. And even today, there's still a couple feet out here. I'm at one of the bait sites. There's a couple feet of snow in places. I don't think bears are out yet, but we're gonna fill the barrels, we're gonna load some bait in there, and we're gonna set up some cameras and see what happens over the next little while. It feels like a late start, but bears are going to be hungry. They're going to be moving soon. I've made it in to the second bait, and I'm going to top this one up as well. There's a little bit more snow here than there is at the first site, and I don't think bears are moving around yet. I haven't seen any sign, any tracks or anything, and there's nothing really green out here for them to eat. So I'm hoping when they do wake up over the next week or so here, they smell my bait, they come into it, and they start sticking around, and I'll have a successful hunting season here over the next few months. It's Friday, May 8th, and it's been a busy week on the trail camera since I baited here last weekend. It only took about a day and a half for bears to show up, and they started coming in regularly. They started coming in ones, in twos, and sure enough, the one that I call Mr. Big that I first laid eyes on last year is back. So I'm baiting today, I'm gonna hunt tonight, and I'm also gonna come back and hunt tomorrow. He's been starting to show up just before dark, but last night he came in at about 7:15, which is still 2 hours before legal light. The wind's good. I'm hoping for an exciting night in the bear woods. It's the first sit of the 2026 spring bear season for me, and I've put in a lot of work over the last week and a half here to get ready. I'm excited. I'm anticipating great things happening tonight, but it also feels just so good to be back out in the woods after a long, snowy winter here in northern Alberta. So after a pretty incredible experience on my whitetail season last year, and I had one of my Browning trail cameras capture my kill shot on trail camera, I've decided to set up another one here pointing at the baits. I'm going to turn it on to a 1-minute video so that as soon as something comes in front and activates the camera, I have a minute of video that's recording, and it'll act as almost a third camera for me to capture the experience of my hunt. I'm all set up. It's 5 o'clock and I got plenty of time. The bears on camera have been coming in at around 6 o'clock, 6:30, and even a little bit later than that. So I'm going to sit quietly. I'm going to watch. I'm going to listen. The wind is swirling pretty good tonight, so I'm anticipating, waiting for that first bear to hit the bait tonight. May 9th, and last night was a little bit of a weird night. 3 little bears came in, all really skittish, and only one of them came in to the bait, and even then he was just hiding behind the barrel, eating the stuff that I had dumped out of the barrel. It wasn't green, but it was on its way to rotting. That's the stuff he ate and he took off. So there's been more bears that have shown up on camera overnight. The drums are still fairly full, so I'm getting in early. It should be a beautiful night to sit on a bait and watch some bears. One of the goals for me this year is getting a bear with the archery equipment again, is working towards my big game award through the Alberta Bowhunters Association. So I have a bear with my bow, but I wasn't part of the membership when I took that bear. So I'm working on different achievements to get to different levels through the Alberta Bowhunters Association. So the bear that I can shoot doesn't have to be Pope and Young, it doesn't have to be a boar. But I am being selective. I don't want to take a little one, but I think if a medium one shows up tonight, I will definitely take it. I do have another reason for wanting to shoot a bear in these locations, and hopefully I can tell you that part of the story after I have the bear on the ground and harvested. It's May long weekend, and the last week has been a strange week on the trail camera. There's been bears still here every night, but they're no longer coming out in daylight. They come in from about 11 o'clock at night till about 5:15 in the morning, and the last couple times I've sat here, there's been no bears that have shown up. So I'm in here, I'm going to rebait. I am going to sit and hunt tonight, and I will either come back on Saturday or Sunday for what will probably be my last hunt of the year. So although I'm hopeful that something comes in, the intel that I'm getting from my trail camera is telling me that bears aren't moving until the nighttime. It's cold, it's windy, there's been some rain lately. I don't know if that's going to affect the activity, but here's hoping that this weekend will seal the deal on my 2026 spring bear. I'm camoed up and I'm about to walk in, and throughout the afternoon as I've been baiting and wondering, I thought about perhaps if there's a bear that comes in tonight, doesn't matter the size, maybe I will fill my tag. So my expectations and my standards seem to be going a little bit lower than what I originally set out to, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. So right now I'm telling myself any bear, any size comes in, I'm going to let an arrow fly. But if a bear comes in, I guess I will have to make that decision at that time. I'm set up and it's early. I got 5 hours in the stand until dark. Let's hope tonight's the night. Quads and side-by-sides stuck trying to cross the pond 80 yards from me. One of them blew a belt. Loud talking, kids running. This is a waste of a night. So I'm changing up my plan slightly, and I'm taking a drum that I had at a test site and I'm bringing it over to the pond site, and I'm going to load it up with oats and oil, giving the bears something a little bit different than what they've been used to, in hopes that I will get bears coming in the daylight. So I haven't used grease since week 1, but I want to get new scent in the air, and realistically I use it on the ground so that the paws from the bears, when they come to feed, they track it through the bush, and that scent of the oil spreads out, and the bears actually help me spread that scent out to attract other bears. So I got one more special trick that my friend Corey gave me that I'm going to try. I'm not going to let you know what it is yet. It's his little secret, so I'm hesitant to share it with anybody, but I'm definitely going to try it because it makes sense. So I'm going to put up this scent rag tonight, and it's about 2:30 in the afternoon right now. That scent will be in the air for the next 6 hours while I'm hunting. I really don't know what's going on and why the bait has gotten so cold in the last little bit. Driving out here, I was hoping that, you know, there's got to be one good night left, and if the barrels are half empty and knocked over and there was bear activity here, it would be such a great sign that I would be successful, and I didn't get that. And again, it has me questioning the time, the effort, the money spent doing this, if it's worth it. And part of me doesn't even want to camo up and come back for a sit. And the other part of me is telling myself, you're already here, get in, and sit and wait, and hope that a bear walks in. There's no reason for them not to be here. I just wish it would happen by now, and I wish I could close this chapter. You'll have to stay tuned to see how this story plays out. Well, my ethics were challenged, or maybe not so much ethics, but expectations. And I told myself at the beginning of the night, big or small, I earned a bear. I've worked hard for a bear. I'll take a small one. And when that small one came in, he still didn't meet my expectations. I watched him for a while. I had ample opportunity to shoot him. I got my bow up, I looked at him, and I couldn't do it. He's just too small, and he's not quite what I'm looking for. And he came up near the bottom of my stand, and he looked behind him, and he darted off, and there was another 2 bears in the bush, and I don't think they were big ones. And they stayed there for a while, then they walked away, then they ran away, and I waited as long as I could, and nothing else showed up to the bait. So I'm going to push myself out here for one more time. I will monitor the trail cameras for the next 4 days, but it was good to see bears in the daylight today. And that brings me a little bit of hope that maybe next time I can get a shot off on a bear that meets my expectations. I'm back in for my last sit of the season. It's 5:30. I have 4.5 hours to sit here and quietly wait. The buds on the trees have really come out this past week, and it makes it so much more difficult to see through the forest floor, but that doesn't change anything for me. I sit here quietly, ready and waiting, so that when a bear walks in, I have nothing to do but execute my shot. What a night, what a night. Oh, he's going down over there. Oh wow. What a night. As soon as I got a look at him, I knew I would take a shot, but he was facing me, so I couldn't quite get into a proper position, and I hit him just a tad high, and he dropped right there, but he's pulled himself away. Maybe about 60, 70 yards here into some water, of course. Whew, I'm going to give him a minute, but I have arrowed a spring bear. Finally, it has paid off. This isn't ideal, and it's definitely not the way I wanted it to play out, but I could see him moving through the trees, still crawling with his front paws, and there's blood all the way through the trail, and I tried to get up close to him, and he's still pulling away. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm going after a wounded bear. I don't think he can walk. Everything he's done has been crawling with his front legs. And with only about 20 minutes left of light, if I keep going that way, I'm just going to bump him. So what I've decided to do is just let him sit. And I believe it's a high lung shot. I'm sure I hit something in there and he'll bed down and he will die. Not the way I wanted it to happen, but I think I'm going to make my way back to the truck. And I'm going to come back tomorrow and search for him while I have lots of daylight, because I want to find him and I don't want him to suffer, but I also got to think of my own safety. So we're going to make my way back home. It's the morning after, and I got Team DOA recovery crew with Tyler Slager from On the Blood Trail, who's generous enough to come give me a hand and search for my bear that I shot last night. So we've talked a little bit about if we think it's alive, if we think it's dead. We're going to treat it as it's alive, and I'm going to go follow the blood trail and back on to the last place that I saw him last night, and hopefully we'll have an easy recovery this morning. We've been tracking blood for a little bit, and we see where he's been rubbing up on trees, and he's staying down low close to the water's edge, and can't find any more blood, and we think that he's crossed on the dam or pulled himself through the water somehow. That's the only thing we can think of. We've done a little bit of a grid search on the one side and haven't come up with anything, so we've crossed and going to continue looking on the other side of the pond and hopefully find blood, if not a bear. Wow. Roller coaster ride.
We were just about to give up.
We were. We walked this way. Did he cross? We ran out of blood, and I mean, even right here is where he bedded a bit. You can see some blood, but I would have never thought he would crawl. I don't know what we are, 300 yards from the bait, straight through the trail, maybe a little more. And just the power he had in him to keep going. He dropped at the barrel. I don't know how he made it this far. I didn't think I'd get a shot at a bear this year, let alone two. I am so glad I made the decision to back out of here last night with him still being alive today. I would have just kept bumping him and who knows, put myself in danger, but wow. He's not a giant, he's not small. I am so happy with him. Still a good coat on him. No rub marks. Man. I told myself I wasn't going to cry on this video. And I didn't really have anything prepared to say. But I know earlier in the video I said I had a couple of reasons for wanting to do this. And one of those reasons was to prove to myself that I could and that I was capable. When I started my own venture 3 years ago, solo baiting, hunting bear, I wondered if it'd ever come together for me, and every year it got a little bit closer. And this year, as close as I got, I didn't think it was going to happen. And he surprised me last night. And again, thanks to Tyler running the camera here. I don't know if I would have found this bear without you here today, bud, so thank you for that. It's been a roller coaster of a ride. I don't know why I'm so emotional. I'm proud of my accomplishments. And I thank everybody for their motivation and their support, as always. And thank you once again for following DOA, Dorward Outdoor Adventures.